How's everybody doing today? Welcome to Mike Dub 27 Day Trading. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid Group and how Lucid Group fares when it comes to the tariffs that are coming up as far as the stock is concerned. As you can see right here, Lucid Group has dropped to $2.30, still about 30 cents from its bottom. If we look at the 1 month mark, at one point in time, it was at $2.16 and $2.10. And then right here, back on the 13th, it actually hit $2. So that's always something to keep in mind when dealing with Lucid, especially when it comes to what to expect from the tariffs. But I had a question about that, and I decided to check with my AI. So I went ahead and asked my AI, and I'm going to do it again so everybody can hear what it said about Lucid Group and its tariffs. So I'm going to go ahead and do it right now. Will Lucid Group be affected by tariffs?
The impact of tariffs on Lucid Group is a complex issue with several factors to consider. Here's a breakdown of the potential effects. Manufacturing location. Lucid manufactures its vehicles in Arizona, USA. This gives them a potential advantage over competitors who import vehicles. If tariffs are placed on imported vehicles, Lucid could become more competitive in the domestic market. Supply chain. However, even though final assembly occurs in the US, Lucid, like most automakers, relies on a global supply chain for components. Tariffs on imported parts could increase their production costs. Therefore, even though the final product is made in the US, the cost of the parts to make the final product could be impacted. Potential advantages. If tariffs significantly increase the cost of imported luxury EVs, it could drive consumers towards domestic alternatives like Lucid. Lucid is taking steps to domesticate its supply chain, which will help to mitigate tariff impacts. Overall impact. The overall impact of tariffs on Lucid will depend on the specifics of the tariffs and how they affect the company's supply chain and its competitors. In summary, while Lucid's US-based manufacturing could provide some protection, the company is still vulnerable to tariffs that affect imported parts. In essence, while Lucid might benefit from tariffs on imported vehicles, they could also face increased costs due to tariffs on imported components.
All right, so right there we see that even though Lucid Group is built in the United States, and that should help out as far as when it comes to the pricing of the overall vehicle. At the same time, a lot of those parts they get imported. Now, that would go be across the board, of course. So there's still a little bit of an advantage that Lucid Group has over other vehicles, in which you would have to have a 20% tariff on an entire vehicle rather than just parts. The easiest way to look at it is like this. Imagine you got to get you some steel, and let's say the steel is, I don't know, $10 a pound. The 20% on that $10 a pound is going to be a lot less demanding on your bottom line than 20% of, say, a $20,000 vehicle. And then having to ship thousands of those vehicles over in the first place. So that's something that we can keep in mind when we're looking at this Lucid stock right here. Going back up to where the price is at $2.30, there is always the chance that it could drop all the way back to $2, or it's the chance that maybe it'll seem like a safer stock choice for people who don't necessarily trust the import stocks right now. But that could go either way. That's one of those situations where you're really gonna have to just sit back and see what direction it goes. And then after that, the charts and the stocks will tell us what it's going to be, and we can go from there. Otherwise, we really don't know. Now, as far as any new news from Lucid, there's really not too much going on. Why Lucid may be more insulated from tariffs than rivals. We got this right here from a Yahoo Finance video. We can take a look at this right here. Let me go ahead and get the volume right. right after this commercial. Matter of fact, while that commercial's going on, there's also some other stocks we're gonna look at too. They're saying XRP is about to really make some headways with its own collection of basically monetization and things like that, and basically kind of stepping away from being in Bitcoin's. Hold on, here we go, right here.
In an event last night, debuting the new Gravity SUV here. Basically, that car, that EV SUV, going to go on sale in April, which is big for them because that's their more volume car. You mentioned the fact that because of the fact that they make every vehicle in the U.S., they're sort of insulated from tariffs, obviously, but because of the global supply chain, they do stuff like battery cells from other countries. That's going to hit them. They're a little bit concerned about that. Also concerned about the threat to the EV tax credit going away. That's also a big deal for them. If that goes away, that's going to be a problem to make their cars more competitive. Layer on top of that, potentially tariffs on goods like battery cells, and it becomes a tough market for these automakers to navigate.
All right, so that's something that we can keep in mind right there. And that was another point that he brought out, how if we see some of those tax cuts for EVs go away, that could also affect the price of the Lucid, as well as the competitive nature that it's been able to take advantage of. So that's just something that we can keep in mind. Something else, let me take a look at one of our other stocks. Of course, you got Robinhood is at 41.92. Now, this shouldn't be affected by anything too much. If anything, it dropped when it came down to what they thought the Fed cuts were going to be, but the Fed cuts didn't get cut. So looking back at that space right there, going from $41 and then the top being around 43.88, there may be an opportunity right there to get some gains out of Robinhood stock, especially when we see that nothing fundamentally has changed. It was just that kind of skittish nature of the market when it came down to what the tax cuts were going to be and things like that. XRP, like we were speaking of earlier, has dropped to $2.11. Now we know XRP likes to hang out at $2.30. So that may be something that we pay close attention to. Now, the goofy thing about this is it's probably going to shoot up, but it's probably going to shoot up in the middle of the night while we're all sleeping. One thing about crypto, I like to shoot up at like 3 a.m. So most of us are going to wake up and this is going to say like $2.30 or something like that. And of course, this isn't financial advice. It's just talking about the goofy nature of crypto and how it likes to fluctuate. But just looking right there, we can see it's at 219. But if you go back 5 days, we're at $2.46. If you go back 1 month, $2.61. So you can see there's a lot of potential for XRP, especially when all the news about XRP right now is good news. XRP prices surged as 11 days ago. Bitcoin XRP prices fall. It talks about why tariffs are hurting crypto. But of course, there's going to be some new news about XRP coming out soon that talks about how XRP is basically really growing into his own thing. Here's a post right here, and it says we have broken through $2 substantially. They said that if this happened, we would be headed for $5, then 30, then 50. Again, if Bitcoin can hit 95,000 with no intrinsic value behind it, but pure meme and sentiment, then XRP, which is tried to the banks around the world, is the fastest transfer mechanism. So we can see right here that somebody else is typing right now that XRP really has some momentum going on that we can pay close attention to as well. Otherwise, as far as most active, with the stocks right now, you got the usual. Nvidia's down $109. Ford is back down to $9.72. It had hit like $10.30. Tesla at 263 for obvious reasons. Plantier 85.85. Neo $3.75. Of course, we already know about Lucid. Amazon's at 192.72. Google's at 154. That thing just keeps falling. Robinhood 41.92. And Apple $217.90. And Rivian $12.41. So of course we saw that red, which means blood in the water. So of course, like they say, when blood's in the water, sharks eat. So those are just some things to keep in mind. Hopefully everybody has a good day with the market. Make smart decisions. Be cautious with all your moves, and let's just keep on moving forward. Once again, this is Mike Dub 27 Traders, and I'm out. Deuces.